This video will show how to create the following two small Python programs. First, creating a new Python file in an empty directory, implementing it with a trivial program, printing the classical phrase "Hello World" to the screen. Then the Hello World program will be replaced with another program, which receives input argument from the command line and also receives keyboard input from the user. This video is part of at least one playlist showing how to do the above with different programming languages. There should be a link to that playlist in the description below. Prerequisites. You, the viewer of this video, are assumed to have some skills in at least some programming language. I will not explain basic concepts such as what is a variable or what is an array or what is a for loop. Even if you have never written source code with Python, you are assumed to be able to understand, for example, what this Python code below does. In this video, I'm using Windows 10, and I start by showing which version of Python I have installed. The Python version is 3.9. The Windows command dir shows that I am starting from an empty directory. Now I create a new directory called Python with the Windows command md. Then I navigate into the new directory with cd python. Then I start Visual Studio Code by typing code and a dot, which is the path to the current directory. When Visual Studio Code has started, I create a new Python file, arguments_inputs.py, in the new Python directory. Then I implement the initial trivial Hello World program by using the print function to print text on the screen. Now I am showing with the command dir that the Python file has been created in the Python directory. The program can now be executed by typing Python and then the file name. As you can see, the program now shows Hello World, just as expected. Now I will replace the initial Hello World implementation with the program which will receive and print arguments from the command line. And the program will also ask the user to enter the name and will then print the screen what the user typed. For this purpose, I have prepared some pseudocode that I will paste into the program, but in comments because of course it would not be possible to execute. Then I will modify the code by changing it to Python code that can be executed. Now I am showing how the program arguments will be provided to the program when it is executed. The arguments will be added after the Python file name and then a space between each argument. So here I am showing 3 arguments for the program. The program arguments can be received with sys.argv, which is a list of strings that can be iterated in a for loop. To be able to use sys.argv, you must import the module sys. Inside the loop, program arguments are printed to the screen with the print function. Here I am creating the string with so-called string interpolation and the variable name in curly brackets, which means that the content of the variable will be part of the string. If you are using Python 3, the function input can be used to receive input through the keyboard. If you for some reason are still using Python 2, you can use the function raw_input instead. The argument of the input function is the text to be displayed at the input prompt, and the function will return the text entered by the user. Here I also use string interpolation with the so-called f-string by using the prefix f before the string, and then you can use variables in curly brackets. It works from Python 3.6. But if you pause the video here, you can see 3 alternative ways to create strings, where a part of the string should be the content of a variable. Regarding the string created in the for loop, I forgot to add the f prefix and to delete the $sign in front of the curly brackets, so I will correct that now. When I execute the program with 3 program arguments, you can see that the first list element at index 0 is equal to the name of the Python file. The actual program arguments, excluding the file name, thus begin at index 1 in the list. Because I wanted to print the program arguments, I can therefore change the code so that it iterates through the argument from the second element, the index 1, by using a so-called slice, which is a part of a list. When I execute the modified program, you can see that it works as expected. Finally, I will move the source code into an if statement. You can do this when you want the code to only be executed when it is executed directly, when you want the code in the file to not be executed if you import it from another module, which you may want to do if the file also includes functions that you want to reuse. In this case, it doesn't really matter, because this little program only is intended to be executed directly. But it could have mattered if the file had contained any function that you want to use from another file to avoid executing source code outside of the function when you are importing it. When I now execute the modified program, you can see that it still works as before.